You already know that on this channel, many times we bring you strategies from traders who participate with very good results in different championships around the world. In fact, we often focus a lot on the Asian part, especially in Singapore, as it is the cradle of some of the best traders in the world. Those who have not only managed to beat the market for many consecutive years, but have done so in a particular way. In today's video, we're going to show you step by step a style of strategy based on indicators that has allowed one of these traders to exceed an annual profit of 60%. We've also chosen it because it's a strategy with fairly simple concepts that you can apply to any type of asset, whether it's Forex, stocks, cryptocurrencies, and in any time frame. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out in this world or if you're already experts. Welcome to Trader's Game. And yes, as you can see, we have created a new Telegram community, completely free, where we will be posting all the updates about what's happening in the financial markets, as well as trading operations, analysis, and much more valuable content. You can find the link directly in the description. The first thing we're going to do is go to the indicators section and search for the trendline breakout with targets by Chart Prime. Clicking on it will show us something like this. Basically, it's an indicator that automatically detects all breakouts of both trend lines or zones and possible ranges that are forming. If we go to the settings section, we can change some things, such as the period. If we increase it to 20, for example, you can see the difference. It doesn't mark as many breakouts. We also have the option to extend the lines a bit more. For example, if we set it to 50, you can see how it extends those zones more, which can be very beneficial if we are looking not only for the first breakout, but also a possible pullback to the line. For now, I'll leave it at 25 so you can perfectly see how it works. And in the style section, as I always say, set it to your liking. The first thing we're going to do is go to the daily time frame of the Bitcoin with USDT chart because I want to show you how well it works, even for detecting those main breakout zones in such high time frames. We can see here, for example, directly when the indicator detects that breakout and also detects that there's enough volume for it to consolidate and for the price to keep rising, it marks the signal here in green, and we would take that entry. As you can see, it also marks an automatic technical target that we can take into account when closing our trade. If you notice in this area here, we also had a breakout candle, but since the volume wasn't adequate, it didn't mark any signal. But of course, you might be thinking that this type of indicator is much more convenient to use in lower time frames for scalping style trading, for example, on 5 minutes. Yes, indeed, this indicator is literally a bomb for producing trades in low time frames. Here you have a couple of simple examples. But of course, this doesn't end here. We should add a couple more things to avoid false signals and nail it to the millimeter, increasing our long-term profit. We go back to the indicators section and add a moving average. But which one? The exponential moving average. And of course, in the settings, we'll set it to 200 periods. And in the style section, I'll personally set it to yellow and with a slightly thicker line so that it's clearly visible. By placing the 200 period exponential moving average, this will allow us to better filter false signals, since if the price is above the average, we'll only look for long entries, and in this specific case, when it's below the average, we'll only look for shorts, so this entry here would be completely discarded. Avoiding losses like, for example, in the 15-minute time frame, where in volatile assets like Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, the indicator itself in the long run gives us so many good entries in relation to bad ones, meaning it has such a high win rate that we don't even need that moving average because, as you can see, it wins absolutely all the trades, even this one here that I had forgotten about. But still, we should always have another indicator or extra help that assists us in certain time frames to avoid those fake outs. The moving average can be very useful in very low time frames like 5 minutes or very high ones like the daily time frame. But for medium time frames like 15 minutes, 30, or even 1 hour, which are the most commonly used by traders, we'll add the volume flow indicator by Lazy Bear. Before anything, let's go again to the settings section, check this box to smooth the lines a bit, and in the style section, I'll personally change the EMA of VFI, which stands for Volume Flow Index, to white and thin because it's not the one we really need to focus on, but the main one is directly the one representing the Volume Flow Index. That is, we'll set it to orange, yellow, or even red because it's the one we need to pay attention to. And, well, its functionality or the way to interpret it is very similar to how we would study some simple indicators like the MACD or the RSI, where we usually know that when this indicator is in the central zone, that is where the value is zero, it's when the price is usually consolidating or lateralizing. However, when those indicators move away from that central zone and head towards areas further away from that middle zone, in case this happens downwards, we always expect a trend reversal upwards. And conversely, if this happens on the upside, we usually look for a reversal but downwards. This is very important for you to understand. These are very basic concepts, but they will always work the same way in this type of indicator. So of course, what happens is that if we see that at some point the price is very far from that central zone and is also changing its direction from a downtrend to an uptrend, it wouldn't be advisable to enter any short, but rather we would look for all the longs that occur at breakouts. We can even take advantage of so-called divergences that, again, are very clearly seen in these cases to not only take this entry but also re-enter on the pullback to the trend line. That's why I mentioned at the beginning that we could also extend the lines much more to take advantage of those pullbacks. As you can see here in this part, again, we have the indicator well above that central zone, so we should only look for breakouts in short. This one here doesn't get marked, but we could enter it manually even if we didn't have that signal alert. We set the take profit at a 1.51 ratio, and we'd already come out winning. However, if we had taken this long signal here without paying attention to the fact that this indicator is already in what we could call an overbought zone, very far from that middle zone and with a higher probability of reversing the trend, the price wouldn't have reached the target, and we would have had a loss, something that, as you see, we could avoid simply by paying attention to the indicator. Another case that can happen is when the indicator is rising, for example. In this case, we see that it's very far from the center on the upside and then starts to fall, and that it will always tend to return to that zero zone. If we see that the indicator is falling, it wouldn't be a good idea to take long trades. In fact, as you can see in this section, those trend line breakouts never get broken upwards, but we see that all the short breakout trades are the ones that end up positive, meaning they give us a very clear profit. Why? Simply because we paid attention to the direction of the indicator. For all those of you who are starting in the world of trading, I recommend manually adding these red, white, and green bands because that way you'll always have clear the zones where the price will tend to reverse its trend, and you'll simply have to follow the movement. As always, I invite you all to try out this strategy and write to us below in the comments section what you think of it and how much profitability you're getting from it. And below in the description, you have the direct link to our website, Dalgo Traders, where you can get the best indicators on the market for trading in Forex, cryptocurrencies, stocks, or any type of asset. Supported by artificial intelligence, these indicators are capable of adapting to market information and identifying the perfect entries for your trades on a daily basis. If you're not yet as profitable as you'd like to be, switch to Dalgo Traders indicators and you'll be able to achieve it while trading any type of asset. Additionally, in our community, you'll be accompanied not only by our mentors and professional traders, but also by the more than 500 people who are already taking advantage of this opportunity.